Well, talking about trade now, thank you, sir. So one of the deterring factors we've seen over time has been payment system across different countries on the continent. Well, to tell us more about contactless payments system in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, we have joining us from Lagos virtually also is Mrs. Carrie Tukor. She's the Vice President and Head Customer Solutions East and West Africa with Mastercard. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Carrie.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you had a bit of the conversation with Prof that we just ended, the issue of trade within African countries, and we know that payment system has been a challenge even before now. Would you say we're doing better as a continent, as a country, when it comes to, interchange of payments for goods and services on the continent?
Thanks for having me on this morning. I would say that the current state of the financial ecosystem in Nigeria is one that is of contrasts and opportunities. On one hand, Nigeria is a young, diverse, and dynamic country that has a vibrant entrepreneurial culture and a large population for financial services. It's Africa's largest economy. It has a high mobile phone and internet penetration, and it has a young adult and youth demographic that is constituting over 70% of the population. So it's a ripe market for digital adoption necessary to drive financial services distribution. Nigeria also has a supportive regulatory environment that encourages innovation and inclusion in the financial sector. For example, the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued various policies and even supported in the development of capabilities to promote the growth of digital payment ecosystem. I mean, guidelines like the contactless payments in Nigeria, the framework on open banking, licensing of PSPs, and even the setting up of SANEF has really aided in driving financial services distribution. Also, solutions like instant payments by NIBS continues to record one of the world's highest real-time payment volumes globally. But despite the growth of mobile and digital technology, millions of Nigerians still lack access to basic financial services, such as formalized digital payment solutions, access to savings and credit solutions, particularly in the remote areas. So for me, the financial ecosystem in Nigeria is very complex, and it's quite difficult to navigate because of the multiple players. I think by the last record, there are over 200 fintechs in Nigeria. We have very diverse platforms, we have very diverse standards, and sometimes this creates a barrier to interoperability and indeed customer convenience and ease. So I'd end by saying that the financial ecosystem in Nigeria, presents a lot of opportunities and challenges for fintechs and financial institutions, both regionally, Pan-Africa, and even globally, and for stakeholders to address the needs and the aspirations of the Nigerian population. I believe that if we leverage the power of technology more, especially with emerging technology and innovation, and most importantly, collaboration, a lot of the actors within the payment ecosystem can create a more inclusive, efficient, and most importantly, resilient financial solutions and ecosystem that can really transform the lives and the livelihoods of the millions of Nigerians today.
And I guess Mastercard has some initiatives to, accelerate this inclusivity that we need in the financial space.
This is correct. And one of the areas that we're really focused on is really driving low-cost acceptance and leveraging the power of contactless payments. And what we've seen is that the adoption of contactless payments in Nigeria has really evolved rapidly in the last few years, driven by the demand for fast, convenient, and secure payment options, especially in the wake of COVID, the pandemic. And more recently, as I'm sure the audience is aware, the initial impact of the CBN's demonetization initiative, which saw a lot of consumers and SMEs really cash-strapped and unable to make or receive payments. So with contactless payments, which is leveraging a number of technological capabilities like NFC, which is near field communication, QR, which is quick response codes, and even biometrics. It enables various form factors to be used to make payments, like your cards, mobile devices, or even wearables. So for us, it's an immediate solution to solve the payment challenges faced by SMEs in light of the recent demonetization. Mastercard launched Tap on Phone, which is a contactless payment system that uses NFC technology to convert an Android phone into a point of sale device, where customers can now tap their bank card or digital wallets to make a payment. It's low cost, it's fast, and it's an efficient way to scale digital payments. And we launched this solution in the market with FCMB. And honestly, in the first quarter or after launch, we saw more than 500,000 SME activations on this platform.
And how secure is it?
Mastercard has really implemented a lot of capabilities that drives security. The first thing that we would talk about is the NFC chip technology, which is a global standard for card security. It uses a microchip embedded in the card to secure and store the transaction process data. The EMV chip technology also protects the contactless cards from counterfeiting, skimming, and cloning by generating a unique code for each transaction that cannot be reused and delivers a very high level of security and reliability for contactless payments. The second thing is tokenization, which is a process that replaces sensitive payment data, such as your card numbers, the expiry date, with a unique identifier called a token, which transmits during the payment process. Now, with tokenization, the card details are protected during a contactless payment, whether it be via a mobile device or wearable, by preventing the exposure of the actual payment data to fraudsters and hackers. It also enables device-specific verification, and what that means is that only the authorized device can initiate and complete the payment transaction. And also, contactless payments that are initiated via a digital wallet that has a tokenized card also enjoys the added biometric authentication security that comes with the smartphone. Another way with which contactless payment is safe and how we make sure that we enable a safe, secure payment transmission is through PIN and biometric authentication, which is a method that really verifies the identity of the user and authorizes the payment in transaction, leveraging a PIN or fingerprint or facial recognition. And these authentication methods provide an additional layer of security and convenience for contactless payments, especially for high value transactions that exceed the card transactions limit defined by the central bank. So Mastercard contactless payment supports PIN and biometric authentication and allows users to confirm their identity and consent before payment is actually initiated and authorized. The last thing that we do, and is very important, is our fraud monitoring and prevention. And Mastercard has a robust fraud monitoring and prevention system that uses advanced data analytics and AI to protect and prevent fraudulent and suspicious transactions. And these fraud monitoring and prevention systems analyzes various factors, like the location where the transaction is happening, the device type, the behavior and the pattern of the user and the merchants, to identify and block any kind of anomaly or deviation from the normal transaction patterns of the consumer. So these are the many features, and there's so much more, but these are specific features that we have deployed to protect the Nigerian consumers and businesses when they're using contactless payments.
Yeah, and I'm sure those features come really handy at this time. We know towards the end
Absolutely.
of the year, a lot of security threat to funds are always
Absolutely.
recorded. So thank you for that, sharing that with us, Vice President and Head Customer Solutions for East and West Africa with Mastercard. That's Carrie Tuko.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break now. When we come back, talking about technology, how it serves the purpose of trade, of services. We'll delve more into that here on Business Morning after the break. Just stay with us.